Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet. In the series of podcasts associated with how it's difficult to actually describe this thing because it's not like I've fallen out of love with podcasting. It's more that for a period of time in my life, for a large period of time, over the past decade, more than a decade in fact, podcasting has been a driving motivator of the things that I'm doing. And when people ask me about my hobbies and things like that, I typically talk about podcasting. I'm doing a critical evaluation on a number of my hobbies currently, and I'm doing this primarily because I've realized that I don't have time to do some things, but also as an adult and also with regards to my current work schedule and things like this, I'd just like to optimize my hobbies to give back a little bit more. And here I'm not talking about financially, I'm talking about the feeling that I've actually achieved something, like something has come of this in a positive light. And I've reflected very heavily on this emotion and what this emotion needs to cause, because none of this is a social emotion. The social aspect of recording podcasts is there. I mean, a bunch of folk I know through Facebook I meet periodically, but it's not an active social group per se. It's a group that exists electronically. It's a group that, maintains me in a variety of different ways. But I think for my own intellectual development, I just feel intellectually stunted by this phenomena. And I think in particular, increasingly, it's not that I want to become a more private person, but I just want to focus less of my life associated with putting out audio in the way that I have. My motivation through the past more than decade has been fanatical in some periods. And I think the way in which I've looked at the podcasting form in terms of it being a nurturing hobby, but also something that is part of social change and these kind of things, increasingly, I'm not really feeling that as heavily as I once did. And I think it's probably important to recognize that in some degree of refocusing. So perhaps I free up some time, but also perhaps I feel it's a bit more personally cultivating, for want of a better term. I mean, for a period of time in my life, I felt that I made a really strong intellectual impact. But the period of time through podcasting, I can't put a finger on various points. I mean, I think there are certain things that have occurred, Model Rail Radio Show 100, but increasingly I'm interested in getting back into my roots in terms of artificial life and these kind of things. And in doing that, that is incredibly time consuming. I mean, when I developed Noble Ape, it was an hour to sometimes 2.5 hours a day in the evenings. Here I'm talking about 2002 through to probably, 2001 through to probably, I don't know when it stopped being that, probably 2006, 2007. I think the change in my work and a variety of things, I mean, I did put out solid components to Noble Ape through this period. And certainly when I think about the early 2010s, lots of projects, lots of components, lots of releases, lots of development. But in the past, 3-4 years, Noble Ape has not really been a focus as it once was. And instead, podcasting is the focus. Producing podcasts, creating content, keeping people happy has been the focus. And I wonder if this is a role which is not as fulfilling in some regard as Noble Ape had been historically. Or potentially ideas or things that I could do in the future. This review associated with podcasting in part is like a spring cleaning exercise that I'm doing to think, how can I improve this thing? How can I make this thing better? Well, I've got to talk a little bit more in future Short Funk recordings associated with that. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.